Hi everyone, my name is Adrien Djomo. I have to analyze with you the Doha Climate Summit. Last year, between November 26 and December 7, was held at Doha, Qatar, the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Nearly 200 nations gathered there with the aim to conclude a new pact and a new agreement and also help developing countries to adapt. As usual, since Rio 92, hot talks, hot debate between developed and developing countries marked the 2 weeks. At the end of the last Kyoto 1 conference, there were some activists in favor that the resolution were progressive and many others remained bitter with the resolutions. I have to analyze with you the progressive points, the weaknesses, and the future prospects of the climate
The Copenhagen
issues.
Climate Summit, one of the most awaited, resulted to a big failure. Since then, ecologists across the world follow with skepticism negotiators in their response on the growing environmental crisis. Two main questions prevailed. How will be the post-Kyoto conference, and also how developed nations will finance the 100 billion adaptation funds after 2020. Outcome of the conference shows some progressive points. The Kyoto Protocol entered another 8-year phase for the European Union, Australia, and a dozen of industrial countries. These countries represent only 50% of the global emissions. However, this represents a bridge for a new global agreement. Hence, the Durban platform and action that suggested in 2011 a new treaty by 2015, which will cover all the 100% emissions and involve all the parties. Also, a ramp-up period until 2020 will allow that a jump up from 10 billion per year to 100 billion after 2020 could be possible. Some negotiators suggested that an amount of 60 billion from all the sources by 2015 would allow that an amount of 2 degrees Celsius stabilization could be possible by the end of this century. The progressive point represents only the visible part of the iceberg. Many unsolved problems remain. For instance, Canada, Japan, New Zealand, and Russia has not signed the new agreement. Also, the United States have never ratified the Kyoto Protocol and have not changed their position also during this new conference. The gap, which represents the difference between the commitment and the achievement, represents 1/3 to half of the reduction needed to achieve the 2 degrees Celsius by the end of this century. And in this actual fact, the world will face a 3 or 4 degree increases by the end of the Doha conference urges the two negotiating track, the Kyoto Protocol and the long-term cooperative action, into one. It means that all the negotiations will be under one umbrella. In Poland this year, the world will follow the 2 work streams that need clarification. One will be the new treaty, and the second will be the ambition gap. Also, in Doha, it was created the loss and damage, which needs to be defined. It means that all the climate-related issue and the catastrophe that a country can face can receive, a country will have this type of damage can also receive the support. In mitigation has many advantages. For instance, many authors suggested that every $1 invested in mitigations can return $7 if properly structured. Also, the climate finance may bring new jobs, economic growth, and also avoid dependency on traditional oil. For instance, also, this year or last year, the United States has voted for 50.5 billion to invest for the loss and damage resulted from the superstorm Sandy. This type of damage or also catastrophe could be reduced if we choose to invest more on mitigations. I will end this talk by quoting the German environmental minister Peter Altmaier, who says, "Doha sent a message of confidence," and I will add myself, if all the parties, all the countries invest more on emission reduction before and after 2020. I will invite you to have more information to go in my website at www.adrienjomo.com.